Okay, we're talking about horizontal stretching. Now, at first glance, putting the one on the inside of the brackets is no different than putting it on the outside because one squared is one, and you'd be absolutely correct. I see no difference. It's all just one function. As soon as I break out of that, though, notice that putting a two inside the brackets is a lot like putting a four outside. And so you may think to yourself, oh, okay, fine. If I make the number bigger, then it gets more narrow, right? That kind of makes sense. But we're talking about a horizontal. So what are we doing horizontally? What we're doing is actually we're squeezing this twice as close. In other words, since the number is a positive 2, we're actually squeezing it closer and closer to the x-axis or to the y-axis. I can make it 3 and I squeeze it tighter. Make it 4 and I squeeze it tighter, and 5 all the way up to 5, squeeze it tighter. That's like a vertical stretch. It's stretching it vertically by 25. Okay. So you may think, okay, great. So it's all exactly the same thing. If the number gets bigger, then it just stretches up, right? But you can't think like that. Inside the thing, inside the brackets, it is a horizontal stretch. Now you may think it doesn't matter, but what happens when we move backwards? When we get back to 1, and there's a point 0.5 and there's a 2.5. So yeah, it gets wider. You're still convinced that it's going to do that. But then we get to negative numbers. And if you recall, when we had negative numbers on the outside, it flipped over the y-axis. In this case, because you're squaring the number, it doesn't flip. Or does it? What it's actually doing is it's flipping over the y-axis. It's flipping this way. But because this graph is symmetrical to the y-axis, you can't really see it. It feels like it's just doing the same thing over and over again. But as the number gets bigger, it gets squeezed in. All right. Now, to get a better sense that it really is flipping things over the y-axis, let's take a look at setup in Desmos. Let me slow that down just a bit. So notice I offset it a little bit. Right? I offset it so that I have a 1 over here. But notice the number being multiplied to the x on the inside, if it's positive, it's on the positive side. It's squeezing it in. But as the numbers get smaller, as a gets smaller, it's stretching it out. Right? And let me stop this for a second. As numbers get smaller, it's stretching it out horizontally. And then as it changes from negative to positive, it flips to the other side. So it really is flipping over the y-axis. Hopefully that makes some sense. All right. I'm going to let it go at that. Bye.